There we are. Welcome to Friday Night Live. That's my podcast voice. Hi, I'm Bob, and I have Vicky over to my right, which is your left. Just say hi, Vicky.
Hi, Vicky.
There we are. And welcome to episode 6 of Friday Night Live with USA Fit Albuquerque. I am Bob, your host, and that was Vicky. So we have an exciting show for you tonight. We have 3 of our sponsors are going to talk to us. But first, we want to get to announcements. So take it away, Vicky. Let's get the announcements out.
Hi, guys. Hope you're looking forward to our run on Saturday. We have a social run at Bike and Coffee. We will also have our shirts to give out. Yay! Spring shirts. You can pick them up. They look awesome. And just a reminder that we're taking registrations through April 3rd. So get your registrations in for the Spring Challenge, which will be held on May 8th. That's for 5K, 10K, half marathon. So get ready. That's what this training is for. Take it away, Bob.
All righty. So our first guest is Brant Bermudez from Nutrition First Coaching. And he is always in our newsletter. He's been writing articles last season on nutrition and how it's related to our training. And this season, he's been doing videos. So let's bring Brant right on. There we go. Hi, Brant. How are you?
Vicky, doing well. Thanks.
Okay, outstanding. So I'm going to let you take it away, and you tell us all about who you are, Nutrition First Coaching. Give us some tips, and it's all yours, Brant. Give them full.
All right, great. Thanks. Sorry about having to go through all this, but if you watch any of the videos of the amazing newsletter Bob and Vicky put together every week, I thought this year it'd be a little more interesting to have a video format versus just a long form written format. So, one little plug for that is send me some questions, anything you guys want to learn about, kind of related to running nutrition, general nutrition, even just sports nutrition, even if it's something outside of the, running realm in general. But I also do a lot of stuff with, as an occupational therapist, I do a lot of rehab stuff, but then also strength conditioning coach. So coach a lot of people with training, building muscle, trying to prevent injury and those kind of things as well. So any questions related to any of that stuff, I'm more than welcome that. I love to get some questions because then it allows me to research a little bit and come up with some answers. But a little bit about Nutrition First. And this is a company that I started about 2 years ago. A little bit out of the growth of a gym that I used to own. And that gym was really geared towards CrossFit. We did a lot of personal training in the gym as well. And I ran some injury prevention programs and so forth through there. But a lot of people would come to us with the goal of losing weight. And as I started to learn more about nutrition and kind of find that everybody has this common issue, and majority of the time, it's not that they don't have the information or access to the information. Problem is usually implementation of that, and where the nutrition coaching business kind of grew out of for me. It wasn't so much about how do I eat paleo, or is keto the best diet for me, or maybe I should just go low carb, or maybe I should just not eat at all and call it fasting. But it was more about people saying, I know I probably should eat this or that, but, I have so much trouble getting something good in the morning. And then I tend to skip lunch, and then I get really hungry in the afternoon, and somebody brings donuts to the break room and I end up eating 3 donuts, and, I just completely fall off the wagon. Well, that's where the whole behavioral piece comes in. And that's really what a nutrition coach does. Or a nutritionist, however you want to kind of word that. I'm not a registered dietitian, so I don't do anything with like disease or anything like in a clinical setting like that. Everything that I do is focusing on habit change. It's finding that right diet for you and really making that a lifestyle. And I really don't like the word diet. I actually like to use the word nutritional plan, because that has to include everything you want. In this group, we're all runners. And so that includes fueling your workouts for your run, eating to recover from your workout. And then depending on your performance goal, finishing your first 5K or 10K, or maybe it's doing, having a PR, a half marathon or a marathon or something longer. And I have all that pushing myself and figuring out kind of how nutrition works and how it can fuel you for whatever it is you want to do. One of the, kind of key things that I always feel like is important to dispel for everybody are just some of the nutrition myths that are out there. And I thought maybe we'd take a little time here just to talk about that. And, there's so many different types of diets out there. And what I like to call, these are all strategies of eating. And, one of my favorite phrases is that principles are always there. There's always the principles. There's principles on how you train for running, how your body reacts to that, how you get more fit. Same thing with lifting weights and getting stronger. Same thing with nutrition. And those principles are always going to be the staple point. And there's a lot of different methods inside of that. So principles are the same and methods are many, and principles are never going to change. So if we stick to those main principles of eating healthy and figuring out what's the best style for us and how it fits in our life, then we're always going to be inside that healthy practice, and maybe just figuring out exactly method-wise what works best for us. So if that requires, I don't know if we can actually ask questions, but I love to have people just chime in with questions on things too. But in terms of nutrition in general, especially when it comes to running and running effectively, carbs are going to be our main fuel source. So if we think about the three major macronutrients, carbs, fats, and protein, carbs are the ones that probably I would say recently get demonized a little bit more. People talk about like no carb diets, keto types. But when you're a runner, and especially around your running time, before, during, and after, you need carbohydrates to fuel your body, And of course, this always depends on what exactly it is you're going for and what your goals are, but it also depends on the intensity of your run and the length of your run. But look to some good, healthy carb sources before you run, and then look to some good, healthy carb sources after you run, and maybe even during, depending on the duration of your run. So when we talk about good, healthy carb sources, now we're talking about fruits. Those are always good. Stuff you always see at like races. So half bananas and oranges and maybe even watermelon here and there. But then also there's plenty of good mixes out there, different drink mixes. Fan of just old school, like a sandwich with jelly on it and maybe a little bit of protein. If you wanted to do a little bit of nut butter on there, you're going to get a little fat and protein. But of any kind, a whole food of any kind, you can make your own little kind of oat, kind of power bar, kind of power bite type of things. But just making sure you're getting those carbs in around your workout. When you're done with your workout, in order to recover well and get on to the next workout and feel like you're recovered and you can perform well, that's when protein comes into the mix. And we need protein to basically repair every cell in our body, every little piece of muscle that was torn or broken down during the workout, and then to fuel all our organs and basically every little practice in our body, from growing hair to nails to repairing muscle tissue, requires protein. So protein is very important afterwards. And then I usually tell people, when it comes to getting the fats in your diet, which are also very important, usually we do those away from our workouts. So if you're a morning runner, you might get up, have a pretty, maybe half a banana, half a protein bar, then you go for your run. And after you get done with that, oh sweet, we got a good question. Then you're going to have a good balanced kind of protein carb meal afterwards, and maybe a little bit of fat there. But then for lunch and dinner, that's where you can mix more of your fats in, and that'll get you to digest the meal slower, and that'll help with kind of getting those nutrients into your body and getting recovered. And Jay Follingstad, which I think is Jason, but I'm not. He asked any thoughts on intermittent fasting, and I have lots of thoughts on that. If you think about a window of not eating, that's basically called fasting, and that can be from dinner to breakfast. And if you finish dinner at 7 o'clock at night and breakfast is at 7 o'clock in the morning, that's a nice little 12-hour stretch of not eating. That helps your body digest, and it helps it rest a little bit and kind of get away from always having to process food. But depending on your goal, intermittent fasting can be pretty helpful if you're trying to lose weight and you're still making sure you're fueled for workouts. There's some benefits to fasting and doing a pretty low intensity workout. So this can be like a moderate distance, 30 to 45 minute run at a pretty low intensity. And this will help your body learn to metabolize fat for fuel a little bit better. But really it depends what you want to do with your intermittent fasting. If you're specifically trying to lose weight, there's a couple different plans for this. That can be like a 6-hour or 8-hour window of eating, and then the rest of the 24 hours would be fasting. So there's like an 18-6 plan or a 16-8 plan, and that means you're going to get all your nutrients or all your meals in between 6 or 8 p.m. and then you're going to basically not eat the rest of the time. So that's in general intermittent fasting. There is a lot of things out there, but it really depends on your goals. What's a good breakfast? Serena's asking before a long run. I think there's two things to stick to. One is make sure you can digest something beforehand. So a good 45 minutes to an hour, maybe even an hour and a half or more before a long run in the morning, or depending on the time of day, depending on how you digest. Now, a good way to think about it is you want to have a lot of carbohydrates, but you still want some protein and very little fat and very little fiber. So think about 80 to 100 grams of carbohydrate in the form of fruits or easily digestible breads like bagels or simple white breads. Those will be really good because they'll get into your system pretty quickly. Jellies are good, but stay away from like cream cheese and stuff that's fatty that's going to slow down the digestive process. And then you want some protein in there too. So that might be some egg whites, or that could even be like a protein shake in there where you get 20 grams or so of protein with about 80 to 100 grams of carbs. But think about a 4 to 5 to 1 ratio of carbs to protein. So before I take up all my time here, first coaching, what we do is we do individualized nutrition plans for people, and we start with an awareness period, figuring out where you want to be and where you're at right now, and then we build out a nutrition plan for you and make it educational along the way so that you can learn a lot about nutrition and in your habits so that you can make it a lifestyle long term. A lot of the clients I work with, we work together for 6 months to a year because we're figuring out exactly what works in their lifestyle through different seasons of the year and through different times of the year when things might be different in terms of stress during the winter or the holidays or certain birthday times, or maybe you're traveling in the summer. And that's kind of how we build out all our programs. They're all individualized and their person's needs. One last question here. Matt says, post-run nutrition advice, anything to boost recovery. The best thing to think about with that is get your protein to carbs. Think about a 2 to 3, or so that would be 25 protein to roughly 60 to 80 grams of carbohydrates. Relatively easy digestible stuff. I'm a big fan of whey protein because it digests quickly. And then if we're talking more on recovery with a little bit of supplementation, Even sipping a little basic branched chain amino acids, so BCAAs, after a workout is going to be helpful. In general, think about just a balanced meal and some good quality protein. And I also think it's beneficial to supplement a little bit with some magnesium and zinc at nighttime. So ZMA is a combination of those. And I like to supplement with a little collagen protein as well, because I think that helps, especially if you're a runner with impact in joints and trying to maintain kind of healthy connective tissue in the long run too. But that may be all my time. I don't want to take up too much time. Bob can tell me how I'm doing.
You are doing great, Brant. Let me tell you that. And one thing I want to say out to our members out there, Brant and all our sponsors, we do want to give them a shout out. We want to promote them because they have been doing a wonderful job bringing value to our club. We reached out to them and they were more than happy to. Unfortunately, like we used to in the past, we can't have them come down and meet you. So whether they're supporting us financially or even more important, Brant brings us content. Plus, these guys offer us specials and discounts for you members, just for you members. I'm muted, Vicky. Double check my microphone. Check. Okay, check. How about that, Serena? Shyla, can you hear me? Oh, you can hear me. Okay, Shyla, you're probably, I'm just muted to you. That's our next guest. But please support them by watching this stream every week. And we'll have them on other times too, as we get into our next season too. But hey, one thing I want to ask you, Brant, maybe we could do a just something food for thought. Maybe we could do a session at your place, or you come down to ours where you can, once everybody's vaccinated, or when the health orders allow us, that we can do some kind of, what do you call those, small sessions or small, what do you call those, Vicky?
Yeah, maybe even like a little workshop kind of thing, or maybe some kind of little seminar. Yeah,
seminar workshop is the word I was looking for. So let's think about that, and that's great. You guys keep those questions coming, because I think Brant answered a lot of wonderful questions. So thank you, Brant. We appreciate you so much and what you've done the first 2 years. And put me full screen. That was Brant Bermudez, okay, from Nutrition First Coaching. So now we're going to move on to our next guest, which will be Dr. Shyla Mesch from Maximum Impact Physical Therapy. She's helped me out a lot. So let me just bring her on. Come on in, Shyla. There she is. Okay, Shyla. Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me, Shyla?
I still can't hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, so just take it away.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Shyla Mesch. I'm a physical therapist that's been supporting the Run Group for somewhere around the last year. And I've had the pleasure of meeting several of you, but so many of you left that I would love to have a chance to interact with. So I'm just coming on tonight to talk a little bit about what I do in general. So my PT clinic is a totally cash-based clinic, which means you can come and go basically as you please, or as we decide that is best for the gains for you. So you don't necessarily need a doctor's referral. You can refer yourself. So it makes the whole process pretty simple, easy. We can address ankle pain sometimes, shoulder pain another time, back pain, whatever might be happening with you. But more importantly, looking at oftentimes injury prevention and really working to train and prepare your body for these longer runs. And as the season starts to ramp up, really looking at strengthening glutes and getting your knees ready and preparing the feet with good shoes and all these things, all the other great sponsors have been talking about the last couple of weeks. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the things that I do manual therapy wise and clinic wise. So I do a couple of things manual therapy wise. So my big specialties are dry needling. So for those of you who aren't familiar, with dry needling, there's actually several different types of needling. The type that I'm trained in is called integrative dry needling. So the integrative piece of that basically speaks to not only highlighting trigger points and tight muscles and fascia and those kind of things, but also looking at what I call, or what the system calls, homeostatic points, which are basically nerve points, tension points within the body. So by not only looking at trigger points and muscle tensions, but also looking at these nerve points really allows for the ability to settle the nervous system and overall to decrease pain and improve function for you. So when we look at nerve inflammation and body inflammation both, that's truly what causes pain. So by taking away the inflammatory process, we can eliminate pain and improve function, speed, performance, all of those good things that you're looking to do. So with the dry needling, it works in a couple of different mechanisms. So one being that, of course, it decreases muscle tension and muscle tightness, and it works to do muscle lengthening and those kind of things. But also at looking at the depth of the needle. Right, so it increases or it creates a little micro injury, which then your body can send that like cytokine storm, all those good blood cells. It creates oxygenation in the cells and really helps decrease the inflammatory process through not only the muscle system, but the nervous system as well. So that's just a little bit about dry needling. There's a lot more that can go into play with that. But the other big thing I do that is super, super beneficial for runners and bikers, actually both, it just works so well, is called muscle activation technique. So in muscle activation, it's looking in your body and looking at, from basically from top to bottom. If you came in, say, having knee pain, or you just felt like your power output had decreased, or, something had changed and you just weren't having success, right? We might look at, above and below that joint. So if it were your knee or your hip, I would check spine range of motion, hip range of motion, knee, ankle range of motion, and look at your body specifically, not for normal ranges, but for ranges, range differences from right to left. So if your right hip didn't rotate or move as well into one direction as the left hip did, then we would look at correcting that range of motion by directing our attention at all the muscles that move the hip into that position. So for external rotation, for example, the big external rotators are glutes, glute medius, glute minimus, piriformis. Your quads play a big role in that as well. So our bodies function from top to bottom. So my focus often is different in the PT world in that I'm looking at the full body. I'm looking at you as a whole person and not just as a knee injury. And what this can do, the cool effects are often that maybe your knee is your main concern, but maybe you've also struggled with a little bit of plantar fascia pain, or your back has been bothering you a little bit. And oftentimes by going in and addressing just the hip can help kind of correct the things above and below and really give you that full dynamic movement that we were made to have anyway. We're really not meant to be shut down. We're not meant to be tight, but doing repetitive sports like running and doing all the things that we love to do with our bodies, of course, those things happen. Stress, trauma, overuse, sometimes all of those things are what causes neural inflammation. So like Brant was saying, having really good, solid nutrition in those moments of body stress is really important, but also having a good recovery period. And sometimes recovery in itself is by caring for your body and its soft tissue and, getting regular massage and treatment and really having an open view of what your limitations truly are before they get ahead of you and start to cause injury. So that's one of the really cool things to look at is to try to prevent injury by seeing what your limitations might be before they really start causing pain and dysfunction. There are lots of other things as far as exercise goes, fascial scraping and joint mobilization and all the normal things that most physical therapists might do for you. But I I have been kind of working to put together a few corrective exercises for some of the runners that I have been seeing lately and some of the more common injuries. So just understanding that the importance of cross training is there, and cross training in injury prevention, and making sure that you treat your glutes well, treat your knees well, train your hamstrings, making sure that your feet are functioning well and that the muscles in your feet are strong, because the amount of pounding and effort and distance that you guys put on your bodies is a lot. So, making sure to prevent that the best you can is amazing. So this summer or leading up into your season, I was going to try to be a little bit more consistent with posting a few things on the run page specifically, instead of just on my own page, as far as some exercises that you might do just on a regular basis to work and prevent all those nasty injuries that could be coming. Oh, I see a question. Hang on. So Amanda, issues with the left knee right below the knee to the outside. So IT band can be sometimes a tricky place. So the IT band, it has a structural function. It really holds us upright and holds some of our body and structure into position. But oftentimes when we have IT band, it's generally never the fault of the IT band itself. It's because the IT band gets overstressed because maybe your adductors, like your inner thigh muscles, maybe aren't holding your pelvis in a correct position. So it allows your hip to kind of slip out to the side and really puts extra pressure on the IT band. Or sometimes it can be the glutes on the opposite side, letting that hip kind of tip down. And then it really puts extra tension on the IT band, which then can pull down at that knee attachment and cause pain down in that area. So that's a great question, and a super, super common runner's injury for sure. And yes, PT could definitely help with that for sure. And I think that's the basis of what I had for tonight. If anyone has any more questions on any of those techniques or what those things might do for you as runners, you could certainly ask, but I think that's all I had for you guys.
Put me on. Hi, can you hear me, Shyla? It sounds like, okay, it sounds like Shyla can't hear me. That's okay, Shyla. We're going to take you off the screen right now, and I am going to say a few more things, and I'll talk to you later. But that was Shyla Mesch, and everybody, I went to her when I had that. Remember when I was in that walking boot last year? She helped me rehabilitate, so I got out of that walking boot pretty fast. And the mobility stuff she was doing was stuff I had never had done before. With other PTs, and that was really good. So she was treating causes of, or not just symptoms. So it is very, she has a great approach, and it's your full body. We were doing range of motion stuff that I had never thought of, and I didn't realize how imbalanced I was. And Shyla, I would talk to you if you would like to put links to your videos, just like Brant does. That would be great. All you'd have to do is send it. What's that, Vic?
You send her a message later. She can't hear you, remember?
Okay, we'll send her a message later. But that would be a great thing to have on Matt. That was spelt wrong. It's Shyla with a Y. Just teasing, Matt. Put that on the screen.
I did already.
But okay, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. You owe me a coffee, Matt. But that would be great because it's wonderful information. There's always a point in our season when we start getting little injuries, little things that start bothering us. So Shyla is a wonderful source for us. And again, I want to shout out, we are bringing these we are doing this Friday Night Live to bring you our sponsors and our partners for your benefit, because you need to hear that information, but also for their benefit because they are supporting us too, and we have to give back, and we hadn't been able to by having them come down and join us. So please, number one, just watch this every week as we have it and show your support for them. This has been a great This has been a great interaction with you guys on the show. Lots of comments, and we have comments coming in from our Facebook group, which is not showing up when we're trying to type them in, but from YouTube and Facebook, our page, it's coming in. All right, Vicky, we're going to get ready for our Coach's Corner while I reiterate, just get that ready, right? I reiterate our announcements. Tomorrow, please, guys, remember, I know you get the email, you get the newsletter, but not everybody pays attention. I understand, and it goes into your junk mail or you just ignore it. But tomorrow we are at Bike and Coffee. We had Linda Thorne on last week. I think we have a good window of opportunity for the weather. It may be a little breezy. It may be a little chillier, but still, we're runners. We don't care about that. So everybody come. Coaches and pace coaches, please come early so we can help. You guys can help direct our traffic to the proper parking area. And guys, when you come in, please drive slowly. There's a lot of wildlife around there too. It's just slow, and if there's any bikers around, we want to be mindful of them. So there he is. Matt, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Outstanding. So listen, Julian was unable to make it, and Matt is from his mansion, his humble abode.
Shea Glacier.
Shea Glacier. Yeah. So Matt is going to do our Coach's Corner. He probably has, Matt, everybody knows, he has wonderful tips. The guy's been in the game for a long time working with runners. So Matt, without further ado, whatever your topic is, I am going to let you take it away, my friend.
Okay, thanks very much. And thank you very much again, USA Fit, for letting me come on. I know some of you have been working with Heart and Soul Sports for a long time. I may have helped you personally, and you're probably getting pretty sick of me by now. So I'll try to keep this short. I'm sitting here in my lounge chair because I have had my second, there's the two, my second COVID vaccination. And it is everything they say. It's your immune system kicks in to try to get the antibodies going. But don't be afraid of it. Get your vaccination. It's very important. It's going to be very important for us getting our groups back together, for getting mass USA Fit groups, for bringing reps in from out of state and everything, and then getting races going again. So yeah, just don't be afraid. Just plan on feeling crappy for a day or so. And I had a little conversation with my primary care physician. They said, go ahead, a little bit of Tylenol or Advil or naproxen, unless you've got any kind of other issues. Are going to help out their flu-like symptoms, but it's not the flu. So I just want to say that do not be afraid, go ahead and get them. Okay, that's my soapbox. Just probably plan on not being very active for the next day or two. This is a good time. Part of training is recovering and relaxing a little bit. So, don't be afraid to do it. Okay, number two, I really liked hearing what Shyla had to say, especially at the end with the IT band issue. Now, there are some shoe issues that we can go over with that. But one of the things that is often forgotten with runners is that running and cycling is front to back. It's psoas, glute, psoas, glute, psoas, glute, psoas, glute. But those aren't the only muscles in our body that help control how our body moves. Adductor, abductor. Ad is pulling the legs together, adductors pulling them apart. Those muscles are very important. She can show you really specific things, but there's simple stuff, and I do it as part of my warm up while I'm drinking coffee. In the morning, I'm doing side steps, just side to side, 2 or 3 steps. I even have one of those agility ladders, and about once or twice a week, I'll take it out before a workout and just do, the series of different agility moves. Those help structure those leg core muscles. They help stabilize the back. And if you have more questions, you talk to Shyla. Another thing that's really nice about Shyla, and I know this about my friends at the Institute of Community Wellness and Athletics, when you go to a cash payment physical therapist, they're able to look at your entire body. If you go to an insurance physical therapist, if you need to, go. I'm not telling you not to. And don't cancel your physical therapy appointment because Matt's sitting in his lounge chair and he said don't do it. Your doctor, your knee specialist, your ankle specialist, your back specialist is going to write a prescription, and they're going to send it to the physical therapist, and the physical therapist is going to work on your back or your hip or your ankle or your thumb, whatever you've got. And that may not necessarily solve all your issues. So somebody like, in Shayla's position, where she can really evaluate the entire person. And I've seen amazing things happen when the knee hurts and you fix this little hip thing and everything's fine after that. So don't be afraid to do that. That's good coaching. There's the worst problem. Everybody asks questions. Well, how much should I run this week? How, should I do? Oh, I'm sorry. The Las Vegas Golden Knights just scored a goal. Should I run in the morning? Should I run in the evening? Should I do this? Should I do that? What's going on? The best thing you can think to do is to make sure that you're getting enough rest and you're not overtraining and you're taking care of all the other little issues. I was waiting, and I'm sorry, it seems like I wasn't paying attention. I had on my TV the Prime Video. If anybody's a Prime member, they've got this. I can't even see my hands. They've got this many different fitness videos. There are, since the COVID thing started, you can have access online to so many different training videos that can help you with, you can do some Tai Chi exercises. You can do 1,000 different yoga and Pilates workouts. And all those things are really good to do to add, especially when maybe it's not so comfortable to go into the health club. And most of them aren't doing classes right now anyway. So, take advantage of those things. They're all things that are going to help and, help you stay healthy, help you keep moving forward. And the worst thing that can happen to you is that you go crazy and you injure yourself, because that stops. It doesn't matter how many miles you run every week, because now for the next 2 weeks, you're not going to be running at all. You're going to be hobbling around in a boot like Bob did last year. And that was always fun to watch. That's the best advice. Nutritional advice, great. Your shoes are worn out. Come on, let's go talk to her. I helped a lady yesterday with a bad hip issue because of scoliosis. We did some adjustment and did a little bit of wedge in the shoe that her doctor had kind of recommended. We played around a little bit, and then she called me today just before I left work and said, "Hey, I've never felt better. Let's keep going." So with doctor's advice or with our experience, there's a lot of things we can do to help you out. And then, you continue forward and talk to Shyla, and she'll give you proper exercises that you can do every day. And hopefully you just turn into a fantastic runner. The next thing you know, you're all sponsored athletes. Okay, how does that sound? Does anybody have any questions?
Matt,
Yeah.
we will post those questions on. Let's see, we're going through it, and then they always come on. There's a lag; they'll come on.
Okay. Okay, I guess they scored again. Let me turn that down.
Matt,
Las Vegas Golden Knights are a great hockey team. They're scoring a lot.
You are so entertaining, my friend. Thank you so much. But thanks for doing our Coach's Corner. Everybody, Matt. Go out and see him. Hey, guess what? I get my first COVID shot next week.
Oh, good. Okay.
They just got in touch with me. But the main thing was I got my parents taken care of, and they're all
good.
set with 2. So I guess
so my experience and a lot of everybody else, the first shot, it's nothing.
Right.
You got a little bit of soreness on the shoulder, but that's it. It's the second one that people had a lot of talk on Facebook. So yeah, everybody's feeling kind of crappy. I had to leave work. I was feeling awful. So
okay. Well, thank you, Matt, for coming on. Everybody say goodbye to Matt. We'll see you soon. This won't be the last we do it all. So that was our Coach's Corner, guys. All right, guys, that's our show for tonight. Let me thank everyone who came on. Brant, Shyla, Matt, that was wonderful. There was a lot of good information. We had a lot of movement on our Facebook page and our YouTube, a lot of chats, questions, comments, and just general hi. So, Brant, if you want to stay on, I'll just talk to you after we sign off the show. We're going to show our closing credits. And there's some more chat there. Let's see who possibly last minute chat. I got you guys. I never forget you guys. Vicky and I. Let's go. Okay. Oh, all thank yous. Thank you.
Matt says, thank you, Matt.
Matt says, thanks, Matt. Barbara says, thank you. Janet says, thank you. And I see Janet and Bobby and Barbara and Matt. Matt, see you tomorrow. Okay. Wow, there we go. This is so interesting. Hey, and I see Buddy in the waiting room with Matt. So that was our show. Lot less hitches today because, again, we're still learning this stuff. But thank you guys for joining in. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe. Yeah. Lakaya, thanks again. We'll have you on again soon, my friend. Hey, if you guys are around Bike and Coffee, come by and run with us. That's not a problem. We'll be there tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. We'll be there before the bikers. Brant, I was going to say, Jason, he knows you. I know that we have a few people who know you. Nancy Cass says she knows you, that you've worked with her. So thank you, Brant. I look forward to brainstorming ideas where we can do more to help each other out mutually too, because we help you, you help our runners. That's what we love. And it's all for you guys. So keep watching and we'll see you tomorrow at Bike and Coffee.
If ever I had a video.
Halfway, Debbie. Good job.
Would you dance?
Way to go. Doing great.
Oh, sunshine.
Yes.
You are my sunshine. Let it in. Let it in. Oh, sunshine. You are my sunshine. Let it in. Let it in. They said that.
When I say 1, 2, 3. in the air. Ready? The guys don't do that. The girls always
dancing with some other man. I wanna see where this goes. I need a light to see home, and I